upbeat. Mysterious intro music fades in and then out, the color changed. Again. And scientists have absolutely no idea why an object, millions of kilometers away, hurtling through the empty void of space, is shifting colors like it's alive. 3 months ago, researchers noticed something truly bizarre about 3I Atlas, the interstellar visitor that has already baffled us with its mass, its trajectory, and its strange behavior. It had started looking ... The light reflecting off its surface wasn't the same as when we first spotted it. At first, everyone thought it was a simple measurement error, bad data, a glitch in the telescope. But then it happened again, and again. And now, the latest observations show yet another color change, the third one in less than a year. I'm Marcus, and what you're about to hear is going to sound impossible, because objects in space don't just change color randomly. There are rules, laws of physics that govern how light interacts with matter. And 3I Atlas seems to be breaking them. What we're witnessing suggests either our understanding of space objects is completely wrong, or something about this visitor is fundamentally different from anything we've ever encountered. So, let's start with what color actually means in space. When we say an object has a color, we're talking about the wavelengths of light it reflects. A red object, for example, absorbs most light but bounces red wavelengths back to our telescopes. Color tells us what an object is made of. Ice looks white or blue. Rock looks gray or brown. Metals look dark. Different materials have different colors because of their chemical makeup. When astronomers first observed 3I Atlas back in 2019, they measured its color carefully. The results pointed to something that looked like a comet. It was slightly reddish, which suggested organic compounds mixed with ice, the kind of color you'd expect from something formed in the cold outer reaches of a distant star system. This made sense. It fit the theory that 3I Atlas was a comet, even if it wasn't acting like one. So, scientists filed that info away and moved on. But then, in late 2023, a team using the Hubble Space Telescope was surveying faint objects and happened to spot 3I Atlas again. It was much dimmer and farther away, but still visible. When they processed the new data and compared it to the original 2019 observations, something was wrong. The color had changed. Instead of that reddish tint, the object now appeared more neutral, almost gray. The difference was too significant to be an error. The object had genuinely changed color over 4 years. At first, they thought maybe they were looking at the wrong thing. But after checking the trajectory, there was no doubt. It was the same object, but a different color. They published a cautious paper, suggesting maybe we were seeing a different side of a non-uniform object. Or maybe space weathering had altered its surface. Lots of maybes, no real answers. Then, in March 2024, another team with another telescope looked again. The color had changed again. This time, it was slightly bluish. Not by a lot, but it was measurable. In just a few months, 3I Atlas had gone from gray to blue. And now, just weeks ago, the latest data came in. Another shift, this time back toward red. But a different, darker shade than the original. And the scientific community is starting to get seriously concerned, because none of this should be possible. Let me explain why this is so weird. Objects in deep space are incredibly cold, just a few degrees above absolute zero. At those temperatures, chemical reactions just don't happen. Everything is frozen, solid, static. An icy comet looks the same today as it did a million years ago. Things only change when an object gets close to a star, where the heat can melt ice and vaporize chemicals. That's why comets get tails when they near our sun. But 3I Atlas is nowhere near a star right now. It passed through our solar system in 2019 and is now far beyond Neptune, back in the frozen darkness. There's no heat source, no radiation strong enough to cause these kinds of chemical changes. And yet, its color is shifting. Not just once, but multiple times. This is what has scientists so spooked. The only explanations left are ones that clash with everything we know about physics. Let's look at the theories. Theory 1. The object is rotating, and we're just seeing different colored sides. This is the simplest explanation, but we know roughly how fast it rotates, about once every 100 hours. If this were true, the color changes should follow a predictable cycle. Red, gray, blue, then back to red. But that's not what's happening. The changes are irregular, almost random, as if the surface itself is actively changing. Theory 2. The object is shedding layers, like a snake shedding its skin. Maybe an outer layer of dust or ice is slowly coming off, revealing a different material underneath. But again, this requires energy, heat, or micrometeoroid impacts. And 3, IATLAs is in the middle of nowhere, with no significant energy source. The rate of change is also far too fast for any known natural process out there. Theory 3. And this is where things get really strange. What if the object is generating its own heat? What if there's something inside it, producing energy, keeping it warm enough for chemical reactions to happen even in the deep freeze of space? Natural objects don't do this. You'd need a huge amount of energy, more than any natural radioactive decay could provide. Unless, it's not natural unless there's technology inside. A power source. A reactor. Something designed to keep an object operational across the vast distances between stars. I know how that sounds. But we already know 3I Atlas doesn't behave like a normal space rock. Its mass, its density, its trajectory there, all wrong. And now, its color is changing in ways that defy natural explanation. At what point do we stop trying to cram it into a box of natural phenomena and consider that maybe, just maybe, we're looking at something artificial? Some researchers are starting to whisper that word in their papers. Artificial. Not as a conclusion, but as a possibility that must be considered. But let's entertain the idea. If it is artificial, a probe or a ship, why would it be changing colors? It could be a form of communication, a signal indicating its status or intent. We use colored lights on our own spacecraft for the same reason. Maybe Tres, the Atlas is broadcasting information we just can't decipher yet. Another possibility is adaptive camouflage. The color changes could be to help it blend in. Red when near a star, blue when in deep space, adjusting its surface to avoid detection. Or maybe it's just a byproduct. If it's scanning our solar system, the energy used for its operations might be altering the surface appearance. All of this is speculation, of course, but the fact that scientists are even having these conversations shows just how extraordinary this object is. Let me tell you about the latest, strangest observation. The team that saw the most recent color change wasn't even looking for it. They were doing a routine survey of icy bodies in the outer solar system when 3I Atlas appeared in their images. They noticed it was about 10% brighter than expected, and the color was that new, darker red. But when they broke the light down into a spectrum, they found absorption lines, chemical fingerprints that simply weren't there before. So, what is 3I? ATLAS? A bizarre, one-of-a-kind, natural object that rewrites our physics textbooks. Or the first credible evidence of technology from beyond our solar system. The data keeps coming, and each new observation only deepens the mystery. We are watching, waiting, and wondering what color it will turn next. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into one of space's greatest puzzles. If you find these mysteries as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content. What do you think is causing these color changes? Let me know in the comments below. See you next time. Did you know we can figure out what distant objects in space are made of without ever touching them? We use something called absorption lines. Think of them like fingerprints. Every chemical element absorbs light at specific wavelengths, creating dark lines in an object's light spectrum. By reading these lines, astronomers can identify the elements present on a star or a planet's surface. Recently, new absorption lines appeared on an interstellar object named 3I Atlas. These lines suggest the presence of complex organic molecules, the kind of carbon-based compounds that on Earth are associated with life. Now, hold on. Before we jump to conclusions, organic molecules are found all over space. They form naturally in clouds of gas and dust. So, finding them isn't the shocking part. What is shocking is that they weren't there before. In earlier observations, they were completely absent. This means one of two things. Either they were hidden under a layer that has now been stripped away, or they formed very recently. If they formed recently, it implies that chemical reactions are happening on this object's surface right now, in the frozen vacuum of deep space, with no obvious energy source to power them. The researchers who made this discovery are being extremely cautious. They're not claiming they've found anything definitive. They're just reporting their observations and letting the scientific community debate what it all means. But behind closed doors, in private conversations and emails, people are admitting they're completely stumped. No one has a solid explanation that fits all the data. And it's not just the color changes. When you combine this with everything else we know about 3IA, plus, the picture gets even weirder. It has the wrong mass, the wrong trajectory, and the wrong rotation. Now, its surface is actively changing in ways that just shouldn't be possible. Any one of these anomalies could potentially be explained away. But all of them together, that's not a coincidence. That's a pattern. This has led some scientists to argue that we need to send a mission to 3I Atlas. We need to fly a probe out there, catch up to it, and get a close-up look. At this point, remote observations just aren't cutting it. We need to be there to see the surface, to measure its composition directly, and to figure out, once and for all, what this thing really is. But there are huge problems with that plan. First, 3I Atlas is already incredibly far away, past the orbit of Neptune and speeding away from us every single day. To catch it, we'd need to launch a probe faster than any spacecraft ever built. While that's technically possible, it would take years to design and build. Second, there's no guarantee we'd even get there in time. If the object keeps accelerating or changes its course, our probe could miss it entirely. Interstellar space is mind-bogglingly vast. Trying to hit a small, fast-moving target billions of kilometers away is like trying to shoot a moving airplane with a bow and arrow. And third, there's the question of what we would do if we actually reached it. If 3I Atlas is an artificial probe from another civilization, approaching it could be dangerous. We have no idea what defensive systems it might have, or how it would react to being studied. We could trigger something we don't understand and make a bad situation even worse. Despite all these risks, the calls for a mission are getting louder. The alternative is to just watch it disappear into the blackness of space, taking all its secrets with it. And that just feels wrong. We have a rare opportunity here, a chance to study something genuinely alien and unknown. If we let that chance slip away, we might regret it for generations to come. The color changes have added a new sense of urgency to these discussions. They suggest the object is active. It's asterisk, doing asterisk something, and whatever it's doing might not last forever. If we wait too long, it might just stop, go dormant, and become another dark, silent rock drifting through space. And then we'd never know what it was. There's also a darker possibility that some researchers are quietly considering. What if the color changes are a countdown? What if 3I Atlas is preparing for something, with each color shift marking a new stage in a process we can't comprehend? I know it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but we're already in territory that would have seemed like fiction just a few years ago. An interstellar object that defies our physics, changing colors in deep space, and is possibly artificial. At this point, we can't afford to take any possibility off the table. Let me paint a picture for you. At a recent astronomy conference, the latest data on the color change was presented. The room was filled with brilliant minds, people who live and breathe hard data. When the presenter showed the spectrum with the new absorption lines, the evidence of organic molecules that appeared out of nowhere, room went dead silent for a full 10 seconds. Then the questions began, but they weren't the usual academic nitpicks. They were fundamental. What are we looking at? How is this possible? What do we do now? And nobody had any good answers. The presenter kept repeating things like, we need more data, but you could see it in their face. They were scared. Not asteroid-headed forth scared, but scared in a way that shakes your foundation. The kind of fear that comes when you realize everything you thought you knew about the universe might be wrong. That's the real impact of 3IA. ATLAs. It's no longer just an interesting anomaly. It's a direct challenge to our understanding of the cosmos. The more we learn, the less sense it makes. There's a guiding idea in science called the Copernican principle, the notion that we're not special, that Earth is just an ordinary planet in an ordinary solar system. But what if we're wrong? What if there are things out there that don't play by the rules we've figured out? What if there's technology so advanced it looks like magic to us? 3-1. Atelas might be our first glimpse of that. So, where does that leave us? We have an object that shouldn't exist, behaving in ways that shouldn't be possible, and it's getting farther away every day. The scientific community is torn. Some want to keep observing from afar, hoping for a natural explanation. Others are pushing to launch a mission, and a growing few are suggesting we should prepare for what this might mean if it is artificial, that we may not be alone, and that we might be under observation. The color changes are still happening. Every few weeks, new observations trickle in. Sometimes the color is the same, other times it shifts. Any pattern is still a mystery, but time is running out. Within the next year or two, 3 IATLAs will fade from view, becoming too distant for even our most powerful telescopes to see. And then it will be gone. Unless we do something, the stakes are just too high to let it go. If there is even a tiny chance that 3I Atlas represents technology from another civilization, we have a responsibility to find out. Not just for science, but for our own future. The color changes might be a key, a message, or simply a chemical reaction. But we'll never know if we don't try to find out. The clock is ticking, and the window for action is closing. Scientists are working around the clock, trying to make sense of the nonsensical. Because that's what science does. It takes the unknown and makes it known. Who's Trasinti 31A? Kalis changed color again. For the third time. Every time it happens, we're forced to rethink everything. What do you think's happening out there? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, be sure to like and subscribe for more.